We do not talk enough about the disastrous decision from CBS Sports to give up the SEC first-round draft pick. I know many of you know it, but CBS got the SEC Game of the Week, 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central, for basically a generation of television viewership. They had the opportunity. I got to take you behind the scenes here for those of you who don't know this story. When the SEC added Texas A&M and Missouri, Mike Slive, then the commissioner of the SEC, went to CBS and said, hey, we want to extend this deal. All we need you to do is give us a per capita, basically, increase in what you're paying. Around that time, CBS was only paying a little bit over $50 million a year for the SEC Game of the Week. They got the SEC championship game rolled in on that. They got every best SEC game. And CBS just said, hey, the SEC just said, hey, we want you to continue to pay the same rate, but now we just want it for 14 teams instead of for 12. And if you're willing to do that, we'll extend you for 20 years at the current market rate of 2012. You know what ESPN did? They said, yeah, we're all in. Credit to ESPN. They got this right. ESPN said, not only that, we're going to start the SEC network. It will launch in 2014, and we're going to increase our payment to the SEC a lot. Brilliant, smart decision by John Skipper and ESPN. CBS said, no, we're not going to do that. We'll renegotiate the deal when our deal comes up. They had an opportunity to get another generation of the SEC Game of the Week. Instead, the SEC took that game to ABC ESPN, increased their payout substantially, and CBS ended up paying triple what they were paying for the SEC to get the third or fourth round draft pick every week on average in the Big Ten. A game that nobody watches by and large. I think they got USC Wisconsin this weekend on CBS. Adam, look up what the USC Wisconsin number was compared to 12 million for Georgia, Alabama. I bet CBS did 2.5 or 3 million. That's my guess. And they're never, by and large, getting the Big Ten Game of the Week. For people out there who don't understand this, and there are still a lot of them, Fox and NBC, by and large, get the Big Ten Game of the Week. And most of the time it's Fox. Like Fox is going to get Michigan going up against Texas. They got Wisconsin, Bama. They're going to get Ohio State, Michigan. Fox is going to get almost all of the Big Ten games. And then NBC and CBS get a small footprint of that overall conference, and they're paying triple for it now. It is, I think, and this is no hyperbole, the single worst sports media decision that I have ever seen a television network make for CBS to give up the SEC Game of the Week. Now the SEC, with Oklahoma and Texas, increasing the overall quality of game to an even higher level than it was before. And the Big Ten, third or fourth round game for CBS, it's not going to be anywhere near the draw. Everybody who made that decision, frankly, should get fired for utter incompetence. The story of how CBS choked away the SEC is one of the least reported stories in sports media, and it deserves more attention. I've written and talked about this a decent amount at OutKick, but if you haven't heard, when the SEC expanded and added Missouri and Texas A&M, the SEC went to CBS, which at the time had the 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central Game of the Week on CBS. And then SEC Commissioner Mike Slive said, all I'm asking you to do, you're paying around $50 million a year. All I'm asking you to do is increase your payment so that it remains the same per capita for Missouri and for Texas A&M. In other words, the SEC was getting $50 million a year. They expand by 2, whatever the math is there. Hey, can you give us $4 or $5 million more a year, basically? CBS said no, because they said adding 2 new members did not increase the value of their package. To ESPN's credit, they saw immediately the value when Missouri and Texas A&M were added. The SEC went to ESPN, and ESPN said, it's time to do a network. And so they launched the SEC network. They did a 20-year extension. And right now, the best possible sports deal that ESPN has might well be the SEC. So then they get to take away, because CBS screwed up, they get to come in and take away the SEC on CBS and put all those games on ABC. And I knew that it was going to be a big dollar value and a big audience value for them. But the numbers are now coming out, and I want to hit you with this because it's pretty extraordinary when you look at what they have been able to make. They put out, ESPN PR did, a statement. First time since 1996. So going back nearly 30 years, a single network aired 2 regular season games, reaching 10 million plus viewers on the same day. ABC did it with Georgia, Texas, and Alabama, Tennessee, the doubleheader. And they put out the numbers. 12.9 million people watched Georgia, Texas, and Bama, Tennessee, 10.7 million people watched it. Now, a lot of people don't understand because they get in my mentions and they argue and they're like, well, what did CBS do when they passed on the SEC? Well, they got the Big Ten #1 draft pick. No, they didn't. They got typically the 3rd round draft pick of the Big Ten, CBS did, and they paid triple what they were paying for the 1st round SEC draft pick. And how bad has that viewership been? I flagged this because it kind of gives you a sense. Today, that is Saturday, Georgia, Texas ended up with 13.2 million viewers. The CBS game of Michigan, Illinois, in that 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central time slot, got 3 million viewers. Wow. And so far, the only game that CBS has gotten, not one of those games has ranked in the top 10. The highest ranked CBS game, 12th, USC at Michigan, got 6.3 million viewers. And the SEC numbers on ABC are through the roof. So credit to ESPN for recognizing the phenomenal value of the CBS game on SEC, the SEC on CBS game, and doing whatever it took to get it. Meanwhile, disaster with the replacement that they're paying triple for. It is, I think, the biggest screw up out there in all of sports media in the modern era that CBS managed to have the disaster of not getting this.